Hello and welcome to episode 26 of VocTer Gaming. I am your host, the vocal terrorist, Jesse Rain. And we are here with what should have been episode 45 of VocTer Gaming, but obviously with the 1.4 patch there has been some problems with Razor Mice causing stuttering, and hopefully I fixed that now. My Razor Mouse no longer glows very prettily. But anyway, this is the first in a double Jinro vs Zerg. So of course our red Terran spawning in the lower, I nearly said lower east, that makes no sense, in the lower right, yes, directions at 9 in the morning, spawning in the lower right. Here's our red Terran, former excellent foreign player, now mediocre foreign player. He is LiquidJinro. And today he'll be taking on, spawning in the top left location, the blue Zerg, a Slayers player, SlayerSCoCa. Now to go back to what I was saying about Jinro. Jinro was one of the first foreigners out there in Korea for the GSL, along with Idra. And he performed really well. He struggled the first couple of seasons, but that's because his metagame was evolved. It was kind of beyond everyone else's. And when the metagame changed, he was already ready. He was already practiced for what the metagame would be, which I really liked. And it got him a few semi-finals. Sadly, it never got him quite as far as I think many of us would have liked to have seen. We'd have loved to have seen Jinro take a GSL championship. Make him the first foreigner to win one, in fact. But sadly that didn't happen, and then as the metagame evolved again, he lagged behind and he fell out of Code S, and he fell out of Code A, and now he's stuck in kind of Code B hell, where it's really difficult to get back into Code A, by the way guys. It is really difficult. If any of you have watched the Code B qualifiers that they do now show, if you can stand watching Wolf play Star Fox on the N64 during the breaks, then you'll know how hard it is. It's really tough to get through. So I thought what I'd do is I'd take a couple of days just to see how Jinro's doing, take some of his more recent games just off Battle.net against some top Zergs to really see what he's doing. And here we see he is going for the factory, not the fastest possible factory. He did get the refinery after the barracks. It'll be interesting to see how much that changes, obviously, once we get the patch change start appearing in pro matches. That only popped in Korea yesterday, just before the GSL started. Now CoCa has expanded. This bunker is going up, but as you'll notice, only one marine is there because we only had the one barracks and factory. So this is not meant to do anything other than this, to force CoCa to lose some mining time by pulling drones, and to, of course, spawn some lings. Now, what I didn't like from CoCa is he took a long time to react to this. What he did was he spawned the lings before he attacked, whereas if you pull some drones, you can kill the SCV and stop the bunker from over-completing. So maybe not handled perfectly there by CoCa, but it was a nice little pressure, and it did force some lings to spawn, so I'm quite happy with how Jinro approached that. Has got the reactor for the factory there. That's to get 2 Hellions out at a time. He's dropping a tech lab on the barracks. I assume that will then switch with the factory to get double Marines at a time, and to get the Hellions that is already out, Blue Flame. She's very sexy, which of course at the moment still does plus 10 damage, as this is pre 1.4, as I keep stressing to make sure you're not confused as to why Hellions are still awesome. Jinro is also expanding. He's building a command center, going to go down here. Needs to be a bit careful, of course. Choosing to expand after harass like that, as Blue Flame does start, sometimes means he's going to pressure with these Hellions. Sometimes means, obviously, because you've spawned the lings, you force rather the lings to spawn instead of drones, that your opponent will want to do something harassy to you. So when you're expanding, you do need to be careful. Now this is nice, taking out that creep teamer, which is obviously a waste of energy. Of course, the spine crawler here, really good placement. Blocks this, does stop Hellion run-bys from at least getting past without taking any damage. Destructible rocks are here to widen this, but of course Hellions are never going to take that down. It would take roughly an hour for Hellions to take that down. Now, as we see, the hatchery is morphing to the lair, which I like. Nice timing on that. This is an orbital, this is an orbital. This is a Hellion, in case you were confused. These are Marines. These are SCVs. If you don't know that, perhaps you're watching the wrong YouTube video. Rebecca Black's Friday is spelled Friday, and although it is Friday here, this is VocTer Gaming, and I'm incredibly silly today. Now, something I want to talk about is SlayerSCoCa. I want to give you some background on him while we've got a bit of downtime here. SlayerSCoCa is on, obviously, the Slayers team. Started, or created in fact, by SlayerSCoCa, coached by SlayerSCoCa, an absolute legend of the sport. Obviously not as well known in StarCraft 2 as he was in StarCraft 1 and Brood War, but he was absolutely fantastic in Brood War. One of the men who was really responsible for the scene taking off in Korea like it did. So it's incredible now that he's got his own team. And SlayerSCoCa is one of the few Zergs on it. This can be both an advantage and a disadvantage. While he has very few other Zerg players to play against and practice with, he does in fact have a shitload of amazing Terrans to play against. So this is kind of why I've picked him for the inaugural game of Jinro vs Zerg. Because if anyone should be really good versus Terran, it should be SlayerSCoCa. So I think it will be a good test for Jinro. Now there are 3 queens here that are going to stop these Hellions from doing a lot of damage. But Blue Flame is finished, so these drones are going to die so quickly. Only takes 2 shots to kill drones. And oh, so many drones killed there. Now a Baling Nest is down here. So that is going to help him defend. Small force of Marines with the medevac here. Scans just going to use it to take down creep teamers to stop this creep spread from happening. Decent creep spread. Hasn't quite finished connecting his bases yet, but it's close enough to be okay. And this is fantastic. Already this far out at 10 minutes into the game. It's very good. Spire is now finishing CoCa. That's a really nice timing on that. He's going to be able to get mutas out very nicely. It's going to help him do a lot of harassment to Jinro, especially if he tries to take another base. Timing this out with an expansion, but unfortunately Jinro does find it. Drops 4 Marines here, will allow them all to get killed. What this is to do is to pull the army out of position, because he's dropping 2 Hellions in the main expansion of CoCa, and he's going to do so much more damage to the drones here. And he lifts up again. Only the Queen can attack, obviously, when it's in the medevac. Drops 1 Hellion here, drops both in fact, and continues this medevac up here into the main. Unfortunately, both these Hellions are going to go down now. If we just look at workers killed, that is 29 workers killed for Jinro, to just 1 from SlayerSCoCa, which was the scouting SCV. 29 workers killed. That is fantastic. 40 units killed in total. Absolutely brilliant harassment from Jinro. Really like it. He is getting Terran Infantry Weapons level 1. If we go back into his base, you see he's got 4 barracks there and another one here, 1 tech lab, all the rest are reactors. That is going to be a hell of a lot of Marines. Also has the starport with reactor, so that's going to give him medevac. This looks like it's going to be a near purely bio force, with the Hellions as a backup against the Marines, with the Marines. Here we see the missile turret. Sadly can't zoom in any more than that. See, there is a little man inside the missile turret. Look at that. He's there all day, every day, just spinning around. Found that out yesterday. Find it absolutely hilarious. But these mutas now are out on the field, and they are going to do some damage to Hellions, because of course Hellions cannot shoot up, and if they catch these medevacs they are going to die. Jinro is stimming his units to chase the mutas away. Really like that. I hope you all saw that. Only stimmed half of his Marines. You know you're not going to get any kills with those Marines. You know you're just going to force the mutas away. If you stim them all, you then waste medevac energy on healing every single Marine. Well, if you stim just half, it's still enough to make the mutas run away. And now he catches one. In fact, he catches 2. Really well played there by Jinro. And the mutas in fact stop for a second, so he does damage to a 3rd. Mutalisks are like siege tanks in this game. You want to build up a huge force of them, and you really cannot afford to lose many.
because they take so long. They are so expensive. Armory now going down for Jinro, along with armor level 1. That weapons upgrade is helping him do so much damage so quickly to these meters. Hellions are again trying to stop the creep the creep spread. Does get one down though. We'll have to scan to take these out, and he does. Really, really nice. Doing a lot of damage here. Takes a long time to replace all those creep teamers. And now the Zergs come in. Oh, but he's going to get caught by the Banelings. Oh, loses over half his marine force to the Banelings. And in fact, everything here will now die. Oh, just overextended himself there, Jinro. Made it really, really hard to keep there. And obviously didn't split his forces at all against the Banelings. Could have just picked up and tried to fly away to the high ground here for a better defence. These marines do go down to the meters. That I like what Jinro's doing, trying to take this, as many of the Xel'Naga watchtowers as possible. But just not proving possible right now, as the meters do run away again. Now, look at this creep spread again. Just want to quickly talk about it. Has connected all of his bases up now. But again, losing meters. This is really bad micro from SlayerSCoCa. Focused far more on his macro, much to his detriment. Jinro, however, is saving up a lot of money right now. Needs to get on that. You want to keep that below 400 as much as possible, because otherwise it is just wasted time. As you see, not using the starport right now for anything. Is using that to expand. Isn't making anything out of here right now. That's such a waste when that happens. If you ever have a production facility that you are not using right that second, and you have money, that is a waste of time. That is non-optimal play. Now Lings and Banelings and Mutas are streaming into the base, doing a lot of damage to the Marines here. Sadly, there is only the Mutas left. If he'd kept some Banelings and taken them into the mineral line here, could have had a real problem. Now he's going to lose his Mutas to these missile turrets if he's not careful. 2 do go down. He does get some more Hellion kills, but the Marines now stream out of the base and help fight them off. This one lone Marine chasing all the meters off by himself. Now Jinro is trying to expand up here, but CoCa has found it immediately. He does have one Ling here just to harass it. Obviously that's not going to do any significant damage, but it means he has to send this force of Hellions up here to kill it before he starts killing mules. So he's morphing into a planetary fortress, which is going to help defend it against any Lings, but obviously will not help defend it against Mutas. This Overlord will go down. And at 17 minutes into the game, it looks like these players are pretty even right now. I'd say, in fact, Jinro might have a slight lead, but this is a large, large army. Now the question is, what will CoCa do? He moves forward with the Mutas again, takes out the Marines this time, but doesn't get any Hellion kills because these Marines now move in behind it. Now armor and weapons level 2 is going up right now. Does get some mule kills, which is really, really nice. Unfortunately for him, this map does not extend much further that way, so still takes some damage. Loses another Muta that he did not want to lose at all. But this is a huge force now. Zerglings and Banelings with a couple of Mutas for support. Streaming in. Oh, so much damage from the Blue Flame Helms, but if he can get a good surround here, that will change everything. Surrounds them, but nice pick up there from Jinro. And now Banelings are coming into the base yet again, doing damage to the supply depots, doing damage to the workers. There's a fight going on up here, Medivacs and Hellions, trying to pick off the Banelings, being picked up. Very, very nice timings on that. Eventually though, it does get shut down. There are Lings in the base now. So many workers killed here. So many going down to these Lings. There are just not enough yet to take them out. The Mutas do come down to join them, but do get caught by Marines. He's going to lose a lot of Mutas again. Loses half the Mutas he had there. Lings trying to do some damage to the eBay and supply depot now. That attack does get shut down. Jinro barely holds it off. Armor level 2 finishing was really, really nice there. Did it finish? He did get armor level 2, didn't he? No, he didn't, in fact. That was cancelled. Incredible.
Oh, of course. Pardon my stupidity. Excellent, excellent timing there from CoCa to take down the second engineering bay as it was researching armor level 2. Did not notice that. A miss by me. Glad I caught that there, because that changes a lot now. Weapons level 1 is about to finish, which is going to help do extra damage to the mutas. But of course, with the armor upgrade not finishing, they are still very, very vulnerable to these lings and banelings. Running back now all the way to these missile turrets, which do help defend against the mutas. But this is still a large force, and it looks like CoCa is still trying to go for the kill move, as both men on pretty equal food counts now. But just getting in range of those missile turrets means he loses yet another muta. And loses another one here, loses a second. So many going down, so many in orange and yellow health now. Oh, and again caught by a missile turret, doing a lot of damage. A lot of workers here escaping that bailing very, very nicely. But this base is nearly mined out, so he needs to make sure this base is fully defended. This base is already mined out, which allowed him to main SCVs back here to help. If we have a quick look at workers killed again, it's now 56 for Jinro to 28 of CoCa. So CoCa doing some economic damage there, but nowhere near as much as Jinro has managed to do to him. In fact, is at exactly half. So of course Jinro will be utilising drop play, will be making sure that Bioforce does a lot of damage when he can. If we look here, we see one medevac loaded with Marines. Is going to drop into the base, but this is another big push by CoCa. It does have a bunker here to defend, but that will go down so quickly to banelings. And again, coming in half, these banelings hit, going to do so much damage. Oh, so many SCVs die again. Another quick check. That is 56 to 40 now. Incredible moves by CoCa there. But of course, back over here, we have Marines dropped in the base of CoCa. Do eventually get taken down.